Welcome to Matters of DeCorum. I'm Scott Corum. This is what matters to me. A little personal this time. I'm going to be referring to someone by his first name. If you think you know him or you want confirmation or want to hear more personal stuff about this subject, contact me privately. Message me on Facebook. You can always find me on Facebook, or that's probably the best way to do it, so as to not make too much of it in public. I missed a friend's memorial service this weekend. And it's one thing to have missed a memorial service. I had every intention of going, and schedule and time crept up on me, and by the time I realized it was time to go to the service, I'd had 5 other things that were happening at the same time, and I just couldn't make it. It's another thing to realize I can safely use the phrase old friends memorial service. It's not the first old friend that I have lost. It doesn't get all that much easier. Lord knows I really hope it doesn't become commonplace. I'm 50. Well, about 50. In May I'll be 50. Half a century. Even with life expectancies being what it is, we don't all make it to the end of that expected path. But for people that I know who are in my circle and around my age, it's still a little shocking when one of them departs. Chuck was a great guy. We did not see eye to eye, and we had not associated for some time as of his passing last month, but he's still a great guy and still has my respect. He's an old friend from the convention days. Helped out in role-playing HQ, ran games, had a voice that could carry the distance of a crowded convention hall, and did. When we needed someone to announce that a game had closed, or it was time for signups, or it was time for signups to close down, any announcements we had, Chuck was down there, and he'd take a deep breath and he would boom it out. Sometimes you could hear him in other departments, and people might complain. We didn't care because we had someone who could make his voice heard that far. When he ran games, he was a big superhero GM, Marvel superheroes a lot, and Champions. When he used Professor X from the X-Men as an NPC, you felt it. He was able to lend weight and gravitas to the character that just carried. Still to my day, when I think of superhero games, or I think of playing in a game with the X-Men, I hear his voice in the back of my head, "Tend to me, my X-Men," and it still gives me a little flutter, like I was there. Mark of a really good game master who uses the tools he has been given to their greatest effect. Chuck was a deeply religious man, and unfortunately, some of the source of the tension between us. But I can completely understand that his point of view and position was based entirely in love and concern for his friends. He was a devout Christian and wanted to see all of us with him when he went to his reward. I don't know that I won't. I look forward to finding out at some point when that answer becomes inevitable. Not in a rush, is what I'm saying. Chuck had struggles. It was my pleasure and privilege to be able to counsel him through some of his difficulties. And he was a tremendous subject for hypnosis. I managed to coach him through some fairly bad problems with knees and stress and insomnia. He was a good man. A little forward, a little pushy, but a good man. And it hurts to have missed his service. I'll be trying to find out where he's interred or memorialized and go and visit. It doesn't mean the same thing, but I'll take that time if I can. There's a few people I know I can talk to about it. It's uncomfortable to realize you have things on your plate to the degree where stuff that important can slip. Time management, it's even more than that. Life is an emotional, tumultuous, chaotic existence. Even the most organized and most prepared person will occasionally find things a little bit overwhelming because the universe and the world has a lot more for us to deal with than we ever prepare ourselves to deal with. And now I have to face an existence where I did not end my last exchange with an old friend in a particularly favorable manner, and there will never be an opportunity to patch those things up. There, but for the grace go I looked at very similar circumstances in my life a couple of years ago. I might very well not have been around to be here to make these messages. I've had to put much more time and energy into preparing for the eventuality of my passing than I really wish I had. There is nothing quite like organizing the folder on your desktop that says open in case of my death to make you really think how much you don't ever want anyone to have to open that. My grandparents did not prepare well for their passing. My maternal grandparents, both of whom have passed. Actually, all of my grandparents have passed at this point. They did not want to face the inevitability, even look at the possibility. They lived to ripe old ages, won awards, and had a ceremony in Cerritos at City Hall when they hit their 75th wedding anniversary. At which point, my grandfather was asked how he managed to make it last 75 years, and his response was, I just do what she tells me. But after they passed, my parents had a lot of mess to clean up, a lot of things to sort out, a lot of paperwork and accounting and things that were just kind of nightmarish for them to have to go through, on top of my mom losing her parents. That inspired them to get things well lined up, the right paperwork and the right things in place and everything neatly lined up. My father passed in 2011, and my mom, despite recent health concerns, is going much stronger than before. That's the heart valve made out of a ox's heart. She's going to be alive damn near forever, thank goodness, but has things set up, preparations. Having faced the eventuality and having seen the consequences of not having things arranged, she's had to think about that way more than she ever wanted to. But she has the comfort of knowing that she did, and knowing that she's one fine day far in the future, when she's just tired of it all, she's not going to worry anyone while we're sad because she's not with us anymore. That it's taken care of. My wife and I had to take care of very similar eventualities. The worst bit, when I had these teeth taken out, because that was the only real major surgery that I had as a result of the condition. I didn't have all my teeth left, but I had enough that it had to be done in an operating room in a hospital under full anesthetic. And with my body compromised, there were risks. Oh man. But you make decisions and you put things down and you get ready for things you don't ever want to deal with, but you realize at that point you're not dealing with them anymore. You're past dealing with them. You're moved on, and you don't want to leave the people who are still here with a mess. My family, for the most part, 2 generations, 3, at Forest Lawn in Cyprus. Visited my dad there 2-3 weeks ago. Hard to find, but their navigational system could use a little tending to, but it is a comfort to know that there is a place for things and folks. Me, I have found a service that will take my cremated remains and pack them into fireworks and launch them off the back of a boat so I can do one absolutely spectacular thing in my existence. That, and the other possibility was there's another service that will take your cremated remains and compress them until they form an artificial diamond, so you can spend eternity, or what is left of it, as a perfect crystalline structure in any of a number of different colors. And I realized, I thought about that one because that seemed very regal and majestic and space efficient, until I realized that meant that I'd probably spend the rest of existence lost behind my son's couch someplace. And nah, exploded over the ocean seems like a really good option then. And our society considers these thoughts and considerations to be morbid, things to be avoided for the most part. I have known a number of people in the funerary industry. One of my best friends in the world is studying mortician services and sciences, and she and her husband going into that industry together. I've conducted a few funerals in my time for friends, more than I should. as morbid as it is to think about these things, it is so much more comforting to have everything taken care of and arranged than to have those moments of sheer stark terror where you're already facing an eventuality that no one is really designed to face. And having on your shoulders the concern of how will everyone else manage? How will things be taken care of? So there's a folder on my desktop that reads "open in case of my death." I need to update it a little bit. It's a little out of date. I try to revisit the information in there, make sure everyone gets the messages and information that I have to give them. I need to update a bunch of passwords. I have a living trust that is on record at the local hospital. Anna has a copy. She has my power of attorney if she needs it, because I don't think there's any question that I'm going first. But not for a while yet. I'll be in the same state as my friend Chuck at some point in time, and universe being what it is, we'll see if there isn't a chance for some reconciliation at that point, because by then none of this will matter. If not, I can only hope that wherever his existence has ended up, that he understands. He was the kind of guy who absolutely would, I think. Chuck, sorry I missed the service. Thank you for following along on this personal and morbid trip through a friend's passing and contemplations of my own. If you have similar experiences or questions, comments, other stuff you want to see me talk about, leave me a comment. I love getting comments. You love leaving me one. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give me a thumbs down. Feedback is feedback. If you'd like to see these videos as soon as they come out, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you hit the subscribe button, hit the little notification bell so you actually get informed when these videos come out. If you super dug the video, and I don't know why you would on this one, but it can happen, and you'd like to see me do more stuff, feel free to hit me up my Patreon page, www.patreon.com/ScottCorum. Consider donating. Absolutely anything helps and allows me to make better videos more often. In the meantime, thanks again for watching. I'm Scott Corum, still alive. I'll see you next time on the next Matters of DeCorum.